That's quite the response. I get it. And why would she say that? Well, there's some truth to what she said, but let's dive a little deeper. You see, diabetes is what I would call end stage insulin resistance. You can be insulin resistant long before your numbers come up far enough for someone to give you the diagnosis of diabetes. For me, I suffered for 40 years and had symptoms going back as early as my late teens, and nobody caught it. Nobody said a word until my A1C and my blood glucose and my triglycerides were going up in my late 50s. And by then they were telling me I'm diabetic. But nobody called me diabetic before that. And yet I was insulin resistant. So here's the thing. A number of things happen when you're insulin resistant and that cause the insulin resistance long before you get that diagnosis of diabetes. It goes a little something like this. You eat food that breaks down into glucose in your system far too quickly, calling for high amounts of insulin in your system. Those high amounts make your cells, and every cell in your body is susceptible to insulin, but it makes them resistant to the insulin. Now, once you become resistant to the insulin, a number of things happen. But at some point, the insulin starts to store that glucose as fat because your cells won't take it up anymore. Once your fat cells are done with insulin, feeling like if I take on too much more, I'm going to explode, they start spilling that glucose back out into your bloodstream. And that's when you finally see your A1C and your glucose levels go up. And that's when they're saying you're diabetic. But in the meantime, it could have taken years for you to get to that point. And all that time, you're insulin resistant.